Whoever said that late March and early April is active? Well, it is, and we're going to be seeing a lot of storm systems producing a lot of different things across the United States here over the next 2 weeks, including rain, heavy rain, and some flash flooding. Severe weather could be significant with tornadoes, and we also could be seeing some wintry precipitation, a snowstorm, an ice storm. We got the whole thing to talk about here in this video. Make sure to subscribe if you're here, like the video, give it a thumbs up, and share this video with friends, family, and on social media, and with anybody that you know. I definitely appreciate it. Let's look here at our record high temperatures across portions of the United States this afternoon. We see a large amount of the United States into the 80s this afternoon on your Thursday, March 27th. And these boxed out here are high temperatures that are in jeopardy of being record broken here across portions of the United States this afternoon. And we could be seeing many of them from Montana all the way down into Arkansas, south and west into Arizona this afternoon. And if that's not enough, look at that. Twin Cities, yes, up there in Minnesota, could be getting into the 70s tomorrow afternoon. Definitely seeing a warm setup for them and more record highs from Minnesota, Iowa, South Dakota, back into Nebraska and Kansas tomorrow, and even Chicago on the lakefront seeing highs in the 70s tomorrow afternoon as well. Now let's talk about the heavy rain setup for Texas real quick, because this is pretty significant, and it's already raining in parts of southeast Texas and south central Texas already here at midday Thursday. That rainfall is going to become more widespread and pick up in intensity as we go into the overnight hours tonight. Notice the deeper reds and purples here. And this is, oh yeah, by the way, some severe weather. So we could be seeing more hail down in Texas, more strong winds, and maybe an isolated brief tornado. So even on top of the heavy rain setup, we actually do have some severe weather, and that rain just continues here into the midday hours of tomorrow as well. It's going to be adding up in a big way. Could be seeing widespread rainfall amounts here around San Antonio, Austin, down toward Corpus Christi, Brownsville, Texas. 2 to as much as 4 inches. Localized amounts up to 6 inches will be possible here. So some significant flash flooding is like in the cards, right? And you can see there is a moderate risk for flash flooding. This is the Weather Prediction Center Day 1 excessive rainfall outlook, showing much of southern Texas in that moderate risk of flash flooding here as we go in towards the next 24 hours. So we're going to be keeping an eye on that. Just to refresh your memory, a moderate risk for flash flooding. Numerous flash floods are likely. Some of them could be significant. Many streams may flood, potentially even affecting larger tributary rivers here. So something to keep in mind. Never drive on a flooded roadway. That is never a great idea at all. Now, we are tracking some severe weather in the middle of the country, not only for Texas, but up to the north into the Midwest. We are actually seeing a slight risk of severe weather. Northeast Kansas, extreme southeastern Nebraska, southwest Iowa, and northwestern Missouri. Easy to say, right around the Kansas City metro is what we're seeing, with a marginal risk extending east into Iowa, Missouri, and Illinois. This is mainly an overnight setup, and then as we go into Friday, we have more severe weather possible from the UP of Michigan down through Wisconsin, southern Minnesota, Iowa, down into Nebraska, and then more severe weather and a marginal risk across coastal and east Texas, getting into southern Arkansas and Louisiana as well. Just to break it down for you, over the next couple of days, we already talked about Texas, but we are going to see a lot of energy further to the north, mainly an overnight setup for potentially some severe weather up there in the Midwest. Heavy rainfall as a warm front is going to advance northward, and that is, oh yeah, the warm front that's giving us the record high temperatures over the next couple of days as well. So plenty of lift to go around, and that lift will be in the form of thunderstorms. And then as we go into midday there on Friday, nice soaking beneficial rains for the Ohio Valley as well. And we're not void of wintry precipitation either. We have some snow in the blue, and we have sleet freezing rain in the pinks and purples as well. And that will continue to pile up there in a big way across portions of the far northern United States. As far as rainfall amounts are concerned, between now and the opening stages of the weekend, going into Saturday, March 29th, heaviest down here by far in south central and coastal Texas up into southwest Louisiana. We already talked about a widespread 2 to 4 inches is expected here, with localized up to 6-inch amounts. Very heavy rain again continuing for the Pacific Northwest. That will travel downstream Soaking rains for the Midwest into the Ohio Valley, some areas upwards to an inch of rainfall. And then we look at the wintry side, and enough cold air up there toward Lake Superior and the far northern Great Lakes into the northeast that could be seeing potentially a few inches worth of snow. And we are watching trends for a potentially significant ice storm further to the north as well. So not really seeing that today, but we're getting its act together as we go into tomorrow morning. Notice the pinks really starting to fill in there in North Dakota, far northern Minnesota there, north of the Wisconsin state line. We're talking up there into the UP of Michigan and then into southeastern Canada, into Ontario and Quebec. A very thin area of some very significant freezing rain and sleet, and that could be piling up through Saturday. In fact, some of these areas could be seeing very crippling ice up here as we go through the long-term period. And we look here at the UP of Michigan and northern lower Michigan and northern Wisconsin. A lot of these areas could be seeing over a quarter inch, maybe even a half an inch of icing, and this going through Saturday morning, and that will just continue to pile up even as we go into Sunday with more widespread areas over a half an inch of ice. So this could actually lead to some infrastructure damage, including power outages that could be widespread and very impossible travel conditions in some areas here in the eastern UP of Michigan and even southeastern Canada as well. Now, heading into the weekend, we talked about how that big storm system was going to bring some warmer temperatures, more record-breaking heat across the Midwest into the Ohio Valley, Mid-Atlantic. We got a strong cold front coming in from the north, and that will knock our temperatures down as we go into Sunday, more so to end the month there on Monday. Look at all that cooler air coming in on the back side. Now, we are going to see more record highs possible for Saturday, March 29th. Very sharp cutoff in our temperatures, though. So if you're in northern Illinois on Saturday, you're loving the 70s. If you're in northern Wisconsin, just a state away, you're loving winter if you are a winter lover, or you're hating it because it's going to be in the 30s as we go into Saturday afternoon. And then here comes that cold front, and it's going to drop our temperatures down. A large chunk of the Midwest on Monday to end the month of March will be in the 30s and 40s for highs, with a wind-whipped northwesterly gust that could be over 40 miles per hour. So it's going to feel like a raw day there on Monday across the north. Now, going into the weekend with this clash in temperatures, cold to the north, warmer to the east and south, we're going to be seeing the potential for some thunderstorms that will be severe on Saturday, March 29th. We have a marginal risk from western and northwest Illinois into Iowa, Missouri into Kansas, northeastern Oklahoma there. And notice we have a little bit of a nose of instability nosing its way up toward the Iowa there and Nebraska, stronger in Kansas where we could have over 1,000 joules per kilogram. Notice this is an overnight setup again. So Saturday throughout the day will be pretty quiet, maybe a few storms in the afternoon, but most of the storms don't get their act together until after sunset, after dinner time, and those could produce some damaging winds, hail, and a couple of tornadoes. Then a larger risk, much more significant on Sunday. Day 4 risk from the Storm Prediction Center in Norman, Oklahoma does have that slight risk, 2 out of 5 from Ohio all the way back into East Texas along and east of the I-35 corridor, and it's accompanying about 10 to 12 states here. So this is a large area, and this could be upgraded to an enhanced risk, 3 out of 5 as we do get closer. Plenty of instability to go around. These greens and yellows and oranges, that's 2,000, 3,000 joules per kilogram of instability, and we have a plenty of upper level support with our mid-level jet streak coming in. This isn't the strongest jet streak we've seen this year, but enough overlap here because we have more instability than our previous storms we had earlier in March, but just a little bit less wind shear. But still, when you put them together, severe weather is going to be likely, and we could be seeing a squall line of widespread damaging winds, likely hurricane force, potentially even producing some very large hail over 2 inches in diameter at times, especially further south on the squall line toward Mississippi, Arkansas, Louisiana, and Tennessee, and then tornadoes potentially on the leading edge, or if we have thunderstorms developing out ahead of the main line, that could also produce tornadoes as well. Then going into Monday, doesn't stop there. We have another slight risk from the Delmarva all the way back here into Baton Rouge and New Orleans in Louisiana, so a large risk area there on Monday. Plenty of instability again, plenty of upper level support here as we go into Monday, and plenty of thunderstorms to go around as we go into Monday, especially the morning, but I think they linger into the afternoon for places like Virginia, the Carolinas, Georgia, and Florida. Something to watch out there. For the rest of the month here, this takes you through Tuesday, April 1st. Here's all the rain we're going to be getting. Very active out west. You can see the Pacific Northwest lighting up in red there. Lots of heavy precipitation. Unfortunately, areas like Southern California, Southern Nevada, Utah, into portions of Arizona, New Mexico, West Texas, parts of Kansas there, Colorado, Western Oklahoma. Yeah, a lot of those areas I just mentioned going to be very dry. So the drought is going to continue to intensify and expand, and we're just not going to see as much moisture out there. But east of there, along and east of the Mississippi River, plenty of moisture to go around, several inches of rain, a crippling ice storm that we did mention as well, and some heavier snows, mainly in southeastern Canada, but the Rockies out west, the Sierras, and the Cascades could also see that too through the end of March. Now, going into the first 7 days of April, this is synoptically a look that you don't want to see, especially when severe weather comes to the conversation. You're looking at a ridge further off to the east promoting warmer temperatures and a trough out west promoting cooler temperatures, but as that trough ejects into the middle of the country, could cause some problems. Here's the jet stream. Look how wavy it gets as we go into the middle of next week. And that just continues to remain pretty wavy through the first 7-8 days there of April. And it's showing a very active weather pattern here in the blue from really roughly Michigan all the way down into East Texas. This is an area we have to monitor for not only very heavy rain and flash flooding potential, but also significant severe weather outbreaks during the first 7-8 days there of April. And this could include several tornadoes, potentially even some widespread damaging winds again, and more hail, so something we'll keep an eye on. And then, of course, to the north, we have the colder air locked in place across southern Canada and the northern tier of the United States. So yes, a heavy snowstorm and or ice storm will also be introduced into the conversation too into the first 7-8 days of April. So the Dakotas, Nebraska, Minnesota, maybe northern Iowa into Wisconsin, Michigan, all the way into Quebec and Ontario and interior sections of the Northeast. Going to be seeing quite a bit of snow. And then you look out west, the Cascades, the Sierras, and the Rockies also getting plenty of snow to replenish the ski resorts out west with snowfall. So that is the latest weather forecast that I do have for you today, and you guys understand very active weather patterns, so we'll continue to pump out these updates daily on this channel, so make sure to subscribe to the channel for the most accurate and reliable weather information on YouTube. Like the video, give it a thumbs up, and share this video with friends, family, and on social media with anybody that you know. I definitely appreciate it. You want to follow me on Twitter? My Twitter handle, or X, is into the my description down below the video. You can follow me there for rapid fire updates for the weather as well. We have talk about severe weather on there, fire weather risks, and all the drought risks, and anything to look at in the long range is all on my Twitter and X account. So make sure to go look at that. And that's all the weather I got for you today. So we'll be having another video as we go into tomorrow. Be looking out for that late morning, early afternoon. And have a wonderful rest of your Thursday out there.